What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another Chef's Garage video. Welcome back to our 2023 Audi S5 Coupe. Today I want to do a 2-year ownership update with this car. I'm going to talk about how this car has been living with this car for the past 2 years and give my thoughts on maintenance, driving experience, practicality, and all the normal factors of ownership with a car. As we lease this car, we are 2/3 through our ownership with this car, and I want to talk about what this means for what's happening next with this car and why I think if you're in the market for an S5 that you should buy one like right now. So without further ado, let's get straight into this video. First, if you're new to the channel and this is the first time seeing my face on your screen, consider subscribing down below for more awesome car content, market GTI content on YouTube. I'm trying to become a full-time YouTuber and I cannot do without your guys' support. You guys have been smashing the channel with so much support lately. I can't thank you guys enough. I also do want to apologize with the big hiatus of videos lately. I just started back up at school again and it has been really rough starting up again, we'll put it that way, but I'm happy to start making videos again, and I'm going to try to make videos more consistently now, as of course I want to become a full-time YouTuber. I need to put content on this channel. Now anyways, back to the S5. Now we leased this car about 2 years ago, late September, early October, and this was actually originally my mom's acquisition. She leased this car because we needed a 5th car at the time, and it soon turned to be my dad's car. I told the story many times. I don't want to tell it again. So go watch my other videos if you're really interested in that story. But my dad has been driving this car for the past year and he really likes it. You know, he's not a type of car person, but he likes a comfortable seat. He likes a good sound system. He likes a good maneuverable car, and this basically fits all of those criteria, except that it's actually bright red, really fast, and sounds really good. Overall, we have really enjoyed this car, and honestly, this car has absolutely exceeded my expectations when it comes to an Audi. You know, when originally getting this car, I tell this to everyone that I wasn't expecting much, because this was going to be our first ever S car, and my parents have only owned like A and Q models in the past, but this was our first ever S car, and this car has fully exceeded my expectations as far as ownership with this thing. 2 years in, the car now has 12,833 miles on it, so my mom has put on like 9 or 10,000 of that, and my dad's put on the rest because my dad doesn't go anywhere. He's retired. He doesn't do anything other than, you know, live a retired life, so he doesn't drive very much. So this car doesn't really get a lot of mileage, but when it does, it is an absolutely reliable car. And speaking of reliability, let's talk about maintenance. Now this car uses the 3-liter, let me just see if I can find the hood catch. There it is. The 3-liter V6 engine from Audi. This powertrain has been used since 2018 and our first Audi with this powertrain, and I can't express enough on how reliable this engine has been for this car. My dad's past 2 Audis have failed to reach 5,000 miles without having issues, which is kind of absurd. He owned both of those cars for less than a year each, and as finally as he got put into this, which like I said was originally my mom leased, he's been absolutely happy with the reliability on this car. We've recently done the 10,000 mile service and it hasn't needed anything else since. The maintenance on this car has been totally flawless. Almost 13,000 miles and no issues. This is coming from someone who has experienced 2, I guess, faulty Audis in the past, and both failed to reach 5,000 miles without having major issues, and we had to end up giving the cars back. But this car has been absolutely perfect, no issues, and this powertrain, yeah, it's been here since 2018, but it works. It's reliable, it works, and if you like cars like I do and you want to get some extra power, intake and stage 1 tune, this thing's almost making 500 horsepower at that point. Of course, living in Massachusetts, we had the standard replace tires because they've gotten flat or they've gotten cracked or bubbles in the sidewall, but that's pretty standard maintenance, I guess. It's not like unexpected maintenance, but pretty standard for around here. That's pretty normal. Our roads are pretty terrible. But of course, I made a video on this. This car unfortunately got into its second ever accident under our ownership. My brother. I made an entire video on the situation. Click up there or up there if you want to see the video, but thankfully, no one was hurt or injured in this accident, but the car required a lot of repair pricing to fix. One recent thing I learned is these headlights are almost $5,000 per headlight. I have no clue why this headlight is $5 grand. It doesn't even have the cool like matrix LED technology inside, but for whatever reason, these headlights are like more than like my entire modifications I've done to my car. I'm serious. Actually, if you want to combine this headlight and this headlight, both of these headlights are the same amount as doing all of the modifications to my Mark A GTI. That's a really, really crazy perspective if you think about it that way. Anyhow, of course, the car is all fixed, and I want to give a massive shout out once again to ASI Auto Collision in Hyde Park, Massachusetts. If you need any auto repair work on your Audi or Porsche, they are specialized on working Audi, Porsche, and Volkswagen. Go check them out. I'm not being paid to say that. They just did a fantastic job on repairing this car. I made a whole video documenting the entire process. Like I said, up there. But of course, the car is now fixed, back in our ownership, and ever since that point, it's been totally smooth. But as far as driving experience, this car is actually a ton of fun to drive. Over the past 2 years, I've grown to like this car even more since when we bought it. You know, when we first bought it, I'm like, really, you're getting another Audi? Like, come on, how many Audis are you guys going to buy? Like, I like to have my parents to try different things, like to expand their horizons. Like, not saying Audi's a bad car, no means, like, but you know, they just, I mean, I feel like they just kind of get the same thing over and over. However, I am taking that back now after they purchased this or leased this, because this car has been such a fun car to drive. It has been awesome. The responsiveness that you get from this car is unlike any other Audi I've ever driven. I honestly think that I've driven the RS5 of this generation, a B9.5 RS5, and I prefer the way this drives more. It feels like that you can use all of the power and you can use more of the car than the RS5. I also think this sounds way better. This car sounds way more clear. This has the factory muffler delete and it sounds so good. Other than the engine and the brakes and the suspension tuning, there's really not much different from the RS5, and I honestly prefer the way this drives more. I've driven both, like I said, and this just drives better in my opinion. The interior is most likely the same. It's just that this car is such a fun car to drive. You find some back roads around here, and this car just absolutely rips. Especially this car being a two-door configuration, a coupe rather than a sportback, you have the weight advantage there too. This car weighs a couple 100 pounds lighter than the sportback and the convertible. Overall, this car has exceeded my expectations as far as driving experience. I also think the color combination too on this car is great. The red car with the red calipers with the red and black stitching with the quilted here. I love the spec of this car. I also love I'm a sucker for carbon fiber as well, so I love that as well. But driving experience has been awesome with this thing. Literally no complaints as far as driving experience goes, and it's honestly such a fun car to drive. I mean, as I get to later, Audi won't be making cars like this again, unfortunately. Real quick, I want to talk about practicality, and then I want to talk about why I think you need to buy one of these cars right now if you are in the market. So, when we leased this car, we decided, or I guess my mom decided that she really wanted a two-door because I'll give her credit, which I agree with her. The two-door is way better looking than the four-door. The only thing I like about the four-door is the sport back look, but other than that, the back seat is quite tight. So like but this one is smaller, but the only problem with the two-door is we forget on how big my brother and I are, and just getting into the back of a two-door, especially with a dog as well, just is not practical for us. I mean, that's the only downside with a two-door is you feel like you're trapped back here. If you climb in the back, like I'll climb in the back right now. Oh God, there we go. And as you can see, like I feel like I'm trapped back here. You don't have window controls, you don't have great air conditioning controls, and there is not a lot of legroom at all, and it just feels very tight and claustrophobic back here. And you have like no headroom if you are shorter than 5'6". Or if you're taller than 5'6", you won't have any headroom. So let me just step out here. So the coupe, I should say, is not super practical if you have a family, but the trunk space is also somewhat decent. We've gotten quite a bit in this car as well. Trunk space is, like I said, pretty decent. We have a lot of stuff in here. I do apologize, but pretty decent. You have your seat pull downs right there, so pretty normal size, good opening trunk. But I would say the coupe would be the only sort of mistake, and my dad prefers a four-door car after owning this coupe anyway, or driving this coupe anyway. So that's like the only criticism I have with this car, is really the two-door factor, but it has its advantages with weight and handling and driving experience. Finally, I want to talk about what's happening with this car next, and why I think you should, if you're in the market for an S5, why I think you should buy one right now. This is the B9.5 generation. They just came out with the B10 generation. Having driven the B10, I can say that the B9.5 will always remain as my favorite S5. With the new B10's design, dashboard, and driving experience, a lot of the sportiness has gone, and it's quite unfortunate that that's the way Audi is going right now. As I do work for Audi, I basically can say that, you know, they're really trying to simplify their lineup and make it kind of all match, and this is being one of the last like sort of generations of Audi that they are also offering a coupe, and this is the last generation of this engine, the 3-liter V6. They have a whole new V6 now, which in my opinion is not as good. I don't think the design is as good as either, and like I said, I think the sportiness has left the chat. So these cars I definitely see going up in value over the years, as being like some of the last good modern Audis. Not saying the B10 is bad or anything, but it's a totally different car to this S5. The B10 S5, the B9 S5, totally different car. Everything is all modernized and different, and that's expected being in this generation. No more physical controls down here. I really love this dash design. It's all driver focused, so all that is gone. All of it is screen, and I guess that's the way we're going these days. So I'm not surprised that is where Audi is going right now. So if you are looking for an awesome driving experience S5, but you don't want the B10 with the more modernized design, I recommend starting to find a B9.5 right now, as they are getting harder and harder to find new, as we literally just sold our last one at the dealership literally like 2 or 3 days ago as I'm making this video. And finding a coupe or convertible is even rare, so I definitely recommend to start on your search right now if you're in the market for something like this. Now, as far as this car, my parents are unfortunately leading to the decision to turn this car back in after the lease. With an upcoming video which I'll make about our Audi Q8, they really don't want to own another Audi again, and with maintenance and everything, and the fact that this car is 2 doors, it's just not practical long term for us. So they are leaning to turning the car in, but that very well could change, so I'll keep you guys updated on that. But the last update video you guys probably will see will be either keeping this car or turning it in. We'll have to see. So on that note, Thank you guys so much for watching this video. It's good to be back on YouTube. I look forward to seeing you guys in more videos. Comment, like, subscribe, and comment what other videos you guys want to see, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.